Well, good morning, friends. This is Crystal here from Homemaking on the Homestead, and I thought I would come down here to my apple tree. And yes, that rooster all of a sudden decided to get really noisy. But I wanted to come down here because I thought it was probably one of the quieter spots that I have right now, but now I'm not so sure. But I wanted to do a little coffee with Crystal, so made myself my second cup of coffee and decided to come on down. It's mid-morning and I have had my first cup of coffee already, done some of my daily to-dos, and decided I better get down here before it gets too hot out. And I'm going to try to edit out as much of that rooster as I can, but occasionally you'll hear him. Actually, there are two roosters back there. One has definitely found his voice and the other one is trying. So it's, you know, he's got that adolescent rooster voice going for him. And my husband's making some repairs on our deck, so in the background I hear the saws and things, and it's like, oh boy, that's okay. You know what? This is real life and it is what it is. So I'm going to try to work through this anyway. I hope you all are doing well. We are kind of in the last, hopefully the last heat wave of our summer. So it's been kind of hot here the last few days, but this time no humidity. So it's like, it's doable. And since the days are getting shorter, the nights are cooling off a little bit sooner. So I don't know. These days as we walk into fall are some of my more favorite days. Probably the only thing that's kind of getting to me right now is that I would love to do some baking. I don't have anything that's really pressing, like, you know, no, I don't need to make bread, or I do need to make some granola, but you know, so I can wait. But I'm just kind of getting itchy to bake some bread and to maybe do some you know, crock pot meals, or I don't usually use a crock pot, but my Dutch oven meals and soups and stews and things like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to a little bit more of the cool down. But while this heat is here, trust me, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So are you guys doing any canning? That's the is big time of the year usually for canning. And then my phone rings. I tell you, if it's not one thing, it's another right now. Okay, that was a spam call on my phone. I bring my phone down because it's kind of got my little notes on it, and I, of course, it rings among all the other noises that I'm hearing this morning. I don't know. The challenges. Anyway, canning. Are you guys doing any canning? I did not grow a garden this year, so I don't have any fruits and vegetables that I'm currently canning. But this last weekend, I did can up a whole bunch of hamburger. I think I've got now in total, with what I canned over the weekend and what I still had on my shelf, I have about 20 pints of hamburger in my pantry. So I am loving the ease of use of that. I used it last night. I had a really busy day, and it was just so nice to grab a jar of that hamburger, and I turned it into tacos for us. So that made it, you know, just very fast, and I'm loving that. But other than that, I haven't been doing any canning, and right now don't have a lot of plans unless something comes my way or I see some great deal or something, then maybe I will. So are any of you guys looking forward to fall? And I'm sure those who are in super hot areas are probably definitely looking forward to the cool down of the fall time. I don't really relish winter coming, but we're a ways off, so I'm not going to think about that right now. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about the wise woman, and I'm looking at the verse today in Proverbs. The wise woman builds her house, and I think that we as homemakers don't often realize the power and the control that we have in our homes, and the influence that it can have to all the people around us. You know, not just our husbands and family, children, but also to people looking from the outside in. And that verse comes from Proverbs 14, chapter 1. The wise woman builds her house, but the foolish woman tears it down. And what is it, you know, I look at like the goal for a home. Your home needs to be that loving, nurturing place. It should be peaceful. It should be orderly. There shouldn't be chaos. It should be that spot where when people come in, or when your family comes in the door, that it is a place they truly want to be. And the other one that I've always thought about since my children have all left home is that you also want your home to be this place that your children desire to come back to, that they know they have this sanctuary, they have this spot that they can come back to. I think that is just so, for me, that's really been an important thing. And if our homes are not that sanctuary, that refuge, that peaceful place, that place to be nurtured, to be fed, if they're not doing that, or they're not doing that as well as we would want them to, we have to ask ourselves, are we tearing up our home, or are we building up our home? That is, we can do either. That's where the power of a homemaker is that we have that ability to tear up the home or build up the home. I think we need to be intent in the building up of our home always, because in one way or the other, whether we realize it or not, we are doing one or the other in our homes. We are tearing up or we are building up. One thing I think is really interesting is that the Bible does not say that men have the power to build up their home or tear down their home. It is something that God is speaking to women about, which I believe is, again, an example that shows that power that we have as homemakers to create that home that is honoring to God and loving and nurturing and all those things that I just mentioned. What I wanted to do is to share a few things that came to my mind as steps on how to build up our homes. And after you hear mine, if you have any to add to this list, I would love to hear them. I would love to have a conversation about that in the comments below, because I think that there's a lot of ways that we as homemakers can build up our homes. And so number one that comes to my mind is prayer, and keeping God as priority number one. That is so important, because without that, we don't understand the bigger picture. We don't see the bigger picture. We don't see the need to create those homes. We don't see the need to create those loving, encouraging, nurturing homes because we don't understand that the ultimate purpose for that is to honor God. So keeping God number one as our number one priority is very important. So what I love about Proverbs, it is the book of wisdom, and the wise woman builds her house is part of that wisdom. So I think we need to be praying for that wisdom. And the Bible also says that we pray for wisdom. God will give us that wisdom. But He gives us that wisdom so we can accomplish His goals in our life. And that's an important distinction to make, is that we are gaining wisdom to be able to do the work that God has called us to do. I think the next thing that is important in building our home is to be supportive to our husbands and to build them up as well. I think that as his number one helper, a wife needs to always be doing the things that she can do to make his life easier, to make his life better, to make his life something that he wants to come back home to, because he's being cared for and he's being nurtured and he's being loved in so many ways. We need to always be supporting him in whatever his endeavors are, whether it's heading to work or his projects or whatever. We need to be his number one supporter, his number one cheerleader, and always be speaking encouraging words to our husband. I think that's important, because words can tear people up or they can build people up. And so in all ways, be encouraging to your husband and say encouraging things to him often, frequently. And it goes without saying too, it should, that in a marriage, part of building your husband up is all that, the love, the affection, the hugs, the kisses, all those things are so important for building him up and creating strong marriages. Because strong marriages, strong homes, that's what building up a home is all about. And the next one is kind of along a similar line, and that's being an encouragement to other people. I think when somebody comes to share something with you or to talk to you about something, be encouraging to that person, even if they're having a rough time. Be compassionate, be encouraging to your husband, your children, and like I said, people that come to you. I think that that makes a strong home. That builds up encouragement to other people around us is just to always be in the habit of speaking encouraging words. Also, as a homemaker, I think our attitude plays a big part in what the whole tone and environment of our home is. If we have an attitude of negativity, then we are going to spread that out in our homes and spread that to other people. I think oftentimes when those feelings of negativity come, or frustration or whatever, that's the time you go back to the prayer and you take it to the Lord and ask Him for not only help in dealing with the attitude, but the wisdom of how to respond to your own emotions and your own feelings when they come. I think that we don't want to ignore those, but do we need to be a negative person? Do we need to have the negativity in our lives spreading out to other people around us? So being positive, and that goes right along with being encouraging, right? Being positive is so important to set the mood and the tone of our home. And then another one that I think about is joyful. And all of these kind of are intertwined in so many ways, but I think that we need to be joyful homemakers. You know, we need to find the joy in our daily life, and we need to be not just showing joy to other people, but to actually be feeling that joy. Take pride in a nice clean home. Take pride in a nice loaf of home-baked bread, you know. Feel the joy that comes from these tasks that not only bless us, but bless everyone around us, and they create a certain environment in your home. I like to cook from scratch because I believe that creates a loving, homey environment. For me personally, the more that I do but from scratch, and the more that I provide for my husband and I, as far as food is concerned, from my own hands, I get a lot of joy and satisfaction from that. We eat better. It saves money. You know, there's just so many positive things that come from that, and we need to take the joy in that, and take the joy in what we can do, that power again, to save that money or to create that home that we desire. All right, you guys, do you have any other ideas or any other things that you feel are very important when it comes to a wise woman building up her home? I would love to hear that in the comments. Like I said, let me know. I want to know, because I believe that the list could go on and on. These were some of the thoughts I gathered together as I was making my coffee this morning and getting ready to come and talk to you. These were some of the ideas that I felt would definitely be things that build up a home. But like I said, let me know what you think. All right, I'm sorry for all the noise and the interruptions. You probably didn't see them because I'm going to edit some of them out, but I know the rooster made his appearance, both of them, several times. Anyway, okay, you guys, I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye. Right on cue.